Some of my teammates watched this and were like, that dude was trash. That dude did that. He messed up everything. But for me, he was great. What's up? How you doing? Welcome back to A Moment in Time with yours truly, Aaron Thomason. I'm super excited that you're with me, but got my question. Did you bring 3 people with you? Did you give it to 3 people? Did you bring at least one person with you? Did you put the big fella to work? Are you telling people that we're getting better together? All right, so let's jump into it. Now remember, this is when I let you into my business, so I need you to be gentle. Now, before we get started, as always, it's about clarity breeds confidence and understanding who we are, where we are, and ultimately where we want to go in our lives allows for us to take the next step in the direction of our goals for sustainable success on the path that we're on. That's it, right? So now, here's what I want us to think about. I want us to think about this. This concept and idea we've been talking about is whether we're growing or maintaining, right? And if we're growing, then are we learning as we're going along? All right? And so I want to kind of go through something that honestly plays out to something I learned some years ago when I was in college playing basketball. That actually same lessons kind of apply with this new kind of sport, this new sport I picked up, and being able to see that the lessons are still the same. So when you talk about, I remember a time at Valpo, we brought in a shooting coach, and his job was to work with everybody on the team to help us be better about our shots. You know, wherever your percentage was based on him working with NBA guys, he actually got, some of us to be able to shooting better, understanding the mechanics. He had worked with some Hall of Famers. I'll leave their names out, but we got a chance to have them come to campus. Now, some of my teammates watched this and were like, that dude was trash. That dude did that. He messed up everything. But for me, he was great. Because I got a chance to have somebody who understood the mechanics of shooting to be able to help me improve where I was. Because coach gave us an option. He's like, if you feel like you're good, then, hey, don't worry about it. But in my head, I'm going, wait a minute. You bring in a shooting coach that works with NBA guys. Why wouldn't I want to get better? Remember, that's the first question you got to ask. Are you maintaining? Or are you trying to grow? I said, I'm growing. I need to be better. So guess what? I submitted my ego. I submitted my process and everything to that shooting coach for that 1 hour session. And guess what? I learned so much. I got a chance to be able to understand why my shot was going short, where I wasn't doing certain things, why my body was off balance. And because he was giving all these subtle and little tips, when I then went on my own, I was able to practice the right habits. Because sometimes as you're trying to grow and you're learning, you don't know what to do because you just out there just doing something because you said, I'm just taking the next step, right? At some point, you got to be able to pull in an expert. Somebody that you trust, their credibility is deeper than just YouTube and understanding, but somebody who can look at you personally and see and make some tweaks if you're committed to growth and learning. All right? So I'm not gonna lie, I got better from shooting with this particular coach, where it allowed for me from a perimeter perspective to actually increase my shooting percentage. Big time. Because I was committed to growth, submitted my ego and my process to an expert, and allowed for me to learn and then apply that consistently that allowed for those tangible results. Here we go. Now here's another thing I'm doing. I said, if that principle is still true, as I just picked up the sport of golfing, which, let me tell you, one of the most humbling things I've ever done. But again, I gotta at some point be willing to invest in an expert that I submit my process to so I can truly learn how to be better at this sport. Now, I've gone out a couple times with my brother and, he's been with some pros and everything else, and they've walked him through, so he's passing that tutelage along to me. And guess what? There are moments in that where I'm a little frustrated because what I thought I was good at, I wasn't good at. What I thought I was doing well at, I wasn't doing well at. And guess what? If I want to grow then I gotta learn from an expert or somebody who knows more than me. And that's where I want us to really understand. It's for many of us, it isn't the fact that we aren't good. Isn't the fact that we aren't working. Isn't the fact that we're not willing to grow. We actually just aren't willing to listen because we know it all. Or we got our egos and we get into our feelings a little bit if somebody has something to say to us about improvement where we like, they don't know me. I was trying to do this. They don't understand my story. Yo, all that stuff is good. But if you're committed to growing, and in the process of growing, you have to learn, then you got to let somebody talk to you. You got to let somebody teach you. You got to let somebody else be a part of the process of your growth, or you will only be able to grow based on the understanding and information that you have. That's it. At some point, you got to bring somebody else into the process to allow for them to help you create a different level of understanding as you go through that learning loop we've talked about before. But as long as you are willing to stay where you are, I'm going to challenge you. Just like I would have challenged myself as a basketball player back then, and I would challenge myself currently right now as an aspiring golfer, is that you're not trying to grow, you're just trying to maintain. Because you're trying to maintain your ego, you're trying to maintain your process, you're trying to maintain your comfortability, you're trying to maintain all of that. And eventually, as we talked about, it'll begin to erode, and you will not be getting better, you'll actually get worse. So here's what I want you to do. I just want you to think about this. And I want you to actually put it in the comments. I want you to put it in the comments and say, what expert do you probably need to hire? Based on the goals and the directions that you're trying to go into, what expert do you need to hire? Who do you need to be accountable to other than yourself? And when you can be clear about an expert that you need to be accountable to that will help you get to your goal and get to the place that you want to get to, quote unquote, faster or more efficiently, then you'll be able to truly grow and learn. Because you'll bring somebody else into the process that you're not trying to maintain what it is that you do. You're actually trying to get better and submit humbly to someone who can actually make you better. Take you from good to great, take you from better to best. Listen, that's all I want you to do. In the comments, just say who do you need as a part of your team. And if you're saying, Aaron, I don't necessarily know, then guess what? I might be the first one. Click the book now button. Let's get on each other's calendar. Let's talk more about how we can move you forward with the next step in the direction of your goals and dreams to allow for you to have sustainable success. I'm excited. Do me a favor before you click off. Make sure you give it to 3 people and let the big fella work for you, because you know there's somebody that needs to stop listening to themselves and bring somebody else into the mix if they're going to get what they see in their heads. And the last thing I always leave you with is remember this. Just because you started out on this journey to get better, it doesn't mean that you weren't already good. So until next time, I'll see you then.